Women's mission is to inspire our viewers to thrive, not just survive. Let's take a moment to introduce your Thrive Tribe. Noelle Ramos, financial coach from Atlanta, Georgia. Sabrina Protip, author and life coach from Tampa Bay, Florida. Stacy Soley, menopause coach from Palm Harbor, Florida. Gina Marie Casano, transformational coach from Bayville, New York, along with our business correspondents. Dana Washington, real estate investor from Tampa Bay, Florida. Deidre Pittman, tax strategist from Tampa Bay, Florida. Brianna Johnson, financial coach out of Chicago, Illinois. And Sylvia Camacho, financial coach from California. Now let's get ready to be empowered, and here's your Thrive Tribe. Thriving Women Talk is powered by the Trendsetter Mentor Group, an exclusive membership for mentorship on Facebook.
Hello and welcome to Thriving Women Talk. Welcome to today's show. My name is Gina Casano and I am honored to be here with the Thrive Tribe, our guests and all of you, our listeners from across the world. Our mission each week is to encourage, enlighten, and empower our viewers to thrive to become their best version. And before we dive into our trending topics, let's check in with the Thrive Tribe and some of our members. So Stacy, how was your honeymoon?
Oh, it was so amazing. We went to North Carolina and I'm here in Florida. So there's no mountains and there's really no change in color and season. So I was able to really just witness all of the amazing different colors of the fall. It was beautiful. And sipping a little bit of some wine too. So hiking and wine tasting. Yeah.
Beautiful. Your pictures looked
Can't
amazing.
go wrong with that combo.
I know. Yes.
Welcome back. We missed you.
Oh,
Sabrina, how is the financial coaching going?
You know, Gina, I have to tell you that it's been a great, I want to say past 5 days. People are pivoting because of various different reasons, whether they've lost their jobs or they need to add additional income because maybe another spouse inside the household doesn't have income. And just this past week, we had 5 women and 1 guy, got to give him some props. We had 1 guy come on board to become financial coaches. So I want to say that's just within 1 week. Yeah, that's 5. Got to give that guy his props. That they realize the need. They see the opportunity for an open door. And you were just happy to say that. There's so many people pivoting into different things, but a lot of people are finding that to be the way to go. If they really care about teaching and educating and empowering people, they're finding that to be appealing. So it's been good.
Amazing. I love that. Finding the opportunity, finding the need, and then taking action. Awesome. Noelle, we heard that you and Sabrina are working together with some investment clients. How's that going?
Oh, it's going great. I want to reach out to Sabrina because she's actually going to be one of my investment clients. So Sabrina, share that story and how we got started and what we were thinking about.
Yes. So as you guys well know, I talk about them often. I have twin grandbaby girls and they're 12 months old. And we just started thinking about doing something for them. We wanted them to grow into something. We wanted them to have a future. So my daughter and I had talked about it and I'm not really into the investment side like that, not like Noelle is. We started thinking about, well, should we do a savings account? Should we do this? Should we do that? And my daughter said, well, Mom, I really want the money to grow. We want it to grow exponentially. So when we look at it now, we look at it 20 years from now, they've really got something that they can use for college or start their life. And I said, you know what? Let's phone a friend. Call Noelle. I felt like one of these game shows, get a lifeline. So I called Noelle, got my daughter on the phone, and we told her what our objectives were. And I tell you what, she went right to work on it, put her mind at ease. And Noelle, you can kind of tell us a little bit. You explain some options, right?
Yeah, so definitely. So investing is just like life insurance. The younger you start, of course, the better. So thinking about starting an investment account for your children or your grandchildren, it's the best thing. I mean, realistically, you could change your family's legacy by starting so early or, getting ready for your retirement. And a lot of people kind of, especially entrepreneurs, they kind of sometimes forget. They're going to I'm just going to sell my business and that's what I'm going to live off of. But you really need to think long term and do the research. And there's so many different accounts out there for younger children that you can set up for your kids. and get them set up. And it's so easy and it takes minimal amount of money. You know, most folks think, you know, they have to have a lot of money to invest in. And let me tell you what, that is so not true. You can start with so little bit amount of money. You know, what does it take? Take a couple of trips off of Starbucks each week, and I'm gonna tell you, you can start your investment account. It's simple as that. I'm gonna encourage everyone, go out there, do your research, find out what's best for you and your family. Start young. If you haven't started, start now. It doesn't matter how old you are. I started an account for, 70-year-old before, and some things is better than nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And me and Sabrina, we're starting to do a little bit more projects together. She mentioned financial coaching and bringing in new associates, new people who are having to pivot to do their financial coaching. And Sabrina, I don't know if you want to bring that up, but we had a Zoom call as well about that as well, trying to bring more people into this financial coaching industry. And it's great.
Yes, I'd like to talk about that for a minute. So there again, knowing my limitations and where I draw the line, and I actually have had some people that wanted to get into the space or already into the space that Noelle is, because she does the investment side. And so to give them the right amount of coaching, the right amount of information, the right amount of education, I partnered with Noelle and brought her in, and she was able to answer all of their questions and delve a little bit deeper into some things that, my knowledge and my license and expertise doesn't cover. So, Noelle is, and so that's what I want to encourage. It's like, partner with people who have some of the skills and qualifications that you don't have, so that we can help develop and educate people to get into the right things that they want to get into. And financial coaching is a great space to be in, and Noelle is a great partner to be with in terms of investments. I want to thank her for that. I was able to reach out to her for that.
Yeah, Sabrina, I just want to reiterate one more thing as well. So I'm helping Sabrina with investing, and in turn, I'm terrible with social media, Facebook. I mean, call a spade a spade. I'm old soul. I'm terrible at it. So in return, Sabrina is also helping me get out of my comfort zone and go more into entrepreneur and the women programs, and get better into social media, and try to put myself out there more and going on different shows. So I just want to thank Sabrina as well. Like she said, it's finding that right partner to push you to the next level. And that's my Thrive Tribe. They have definitely opened all their arms and trying to push everyone to the next level. And it's a great team.
Excellent.
Wonderful. Thank you, ladies, so much, all of you, for sharing. That was very helpful. So moving on, in today's Smart Money segment, we're going to be talking about the rising popularity in thrifting among more wealthier consumers, and especially among individuals of Generation X, people born between 1997 and around 2012. So what exactly is thrifting, right? So simply put, thrifting means shopping at a thrift store, garage sale, or flea market, where you will find gently used items at discounted prices. Thrifted items have been loved by a previous owner and are usually in very good shape with enough life to be useful to a new owner. And so to help our viewers understand the why, what, and how to thrift like a boss, we invited Generation Z fashion coordinator Whitney Hartford to the show. We will talk with Whitney shortly, but first let's check in with Stacy on our life strategies segment. Stacy, what do we have in store for us today in our life strategy segment?
Well, what we're going to be discussing is it's all about fitness challenges and why fitness challenges should be one of your priorities in 2021. So if you're like most people, and I'm going to definitely point the finger at myself too, we kind of struggled with keeping up with the home fitness routine, especially if you haven't had the ability or you're not going out to the gyms yet, right? You might have started off strong in 2020, setting some goals, or maybe you got some new workout gear for holiday gifts, or you hit the gym. But then what happened, right? COVID hit, and all those goals went away, and some of us gained a little extra, the COVID-15, right? So to empower us to start now, instead of waiting until 2021, we've invited fitness coach Farah Bledsoe, I'm hoping I'm saying that correctly, and Bryce Sanders from Revenue Fitness and Salon to share 5 fitness challenges that that start right now. So this is going to be really exciting. You're not going to want to miss this. So I know, Sabrina, last week we talked about installing solar panels on our homes. And I know I missed that, so I'm looking forward to hearing a little bit more. But this is really to help reduce carbons and save the planet. So tell us, what else can we do to decrease carbon?
Well, thank you, Stacy. And we did talk about that a little bit last week. The United Nations reported on climate change just this week, and the report contains some dire news for humanity. It states that we have less than 2 decades or 20 years of hard work ahead of us to limit global warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius and avoid a catastrophic consequence to our planet. Thriving Women Network will do our part to educate, encourage, and empower our viewers to stay engaged and informed. We're going to share our brief YouTube video with American astrophysicist Neil deGrasse Tyson explaining why it's so important for us to do our part. Let's see that video.
In 1960, Carl Sagan's PhD thesis included the first calculation of the runaway greenhouse effect on Venus. This was part of a career-long interest in the atmospheres of the planets, including our own. In the original Cosmos series in 1980, Carl Sagan warned,
"We are releasing vast quantities of carbon dioxide, increasing the greenhouse effect. It may not take much to destabilize the Earth's climate, to convert this heaven, our only home in the cosmos, into a kind of hell."
incoming light from the sun hits the surface. The Earth absorbs much of that energy, which heats the planet up and makes the surface glow in infrared light. But the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere absorbs most of that outgoing heat radiation, sending much of it right back to the surface. This makes the planet even warmer. That's all there is to the greenhouse effect. It's basic physics, just bookkeeping of the energy flow. There's nothing controversial about it. If we didn't have any carbon dioxide in our atmosphere, the Earth would just be a great big snowball, and we wouldn't be here.
So a little greenhouse effect is a good thing, but a big one can destabilize the climate and wreck our way of life. All right, but how do we know that we're the problem? Maybe the Earth itself is causing the rise in CO2. Maybe it has nothing to do with the coal and oil we burn. Maybe it's those damn volcanoes. Every few years, Mount Etna in Sicily blows its stack. Each big eruption sends millions of tons of CO2 into the atmosphere. Now, combine that with the output of all the other volcanic activity on the planet. Let's take the largest scientific estimate, about 500 million tons of volcanic CO2 entering the atmosphere every year. Sounds like a lot, right? But that's not even 2% of the 30 billion tons of CO2 that our civilization is cranking out every year. And funny thing, the measured increase in CO2 in the atmosphere tallies with the known amount we're dumping there by burning coal, oil, and gas. Volcanic CO2 has a distinct signature. It's slightly heavier than the kind produced by burning fossil fuels. We can tell the difference between the two when we examine them at the atomic level. It's clear that the increased CO2 in the air is not from volcanoes. What's more, the observed warming is as much as predicted from the measured increase in carbon dioxide. It's a pretty tight case. Our fingerprints are all over this one. How much is 30 billion tons of CO2 per year? If you compressed it into solid form, it would occupy about the same volume as the White Cliffs of Dover. And we're adding that much CO2 to the air every year, relentlessly, year after year. Unlucky for us, the main waste product of our civilization is not just any substance. It happens to be the chief climate regulating gas of our global thermostat, year in, year out. Too bad CO2 is an invisible gas. Maybe if we could see it. If our eyes were sensitive to CO2, and perhaps there are such beings in the cosmos, if we could see all that carbon dioxide, then we would overcome the denial
and grasp the magnitude of our impact on the atmosphere.
Thriving Women is sponsored by the Trendsetter Mentor Group, an exclusive membership for mentorship. TMG is an exclusive Facebook mentoring membership for thriving entrepreneurs with a culture of caring and sharing. TMG's mission is mentoring, inspiring, and empowerment. And if you're a thriving entrepreneur and inspired to surround yourself with like-minded peak performers, join TMG's exclusive membership group on Facebook by sending a members request to the Trendsetter Mentor Group. We are your membership for mentorship. Back to Thriving Women Talk.
Do we have Noelle?
Hey, welcome. Hey, welcome back, everybody. So we hope you are enlightened by that video on global warming with Neil deGrasse Tyson. I don't know about you ladies, but seeing that purple smoke kind of hit home for me, right? Did it hit home for you guys? That was like, if we could actually see it, I think it would be more realistic to us. And the fact that the whole world, I don't care for winter. I don't know about Brianna because she's in Chicago. She must love the winter because it's always cold.
No, I actually hate it.
But I can't imagine the whole world becoming a frozen block of ice. I'm done. I'm done. Just ship me off somewhere. I can't make it. So our Thrive Tribe, we're going to have an open discussion on what we can do personally to make a difference and to reduce carbons. And it's important to remember the equally vital contributions that we make as private citizens and how change happens. So you want to talk about change. Change only happens when we take action, obviously. And so we have some suggestions that we're going to share from NRDC's Clean Power Plan Initiative. Say that 3 times fast. Okay. So the first suggestion was that we're going to do today is pretty easy. Simply just speak up. Easy enough, you think. And the single biggest way to make an impact on global climate change is just talk to your friends, talk to your family, talk to your coworkers, anybody who will listen to you. And by voicing your concerns, maybe through social media, which we've already established, I'm terrible at, but I'm going to work on it. You can, or even directly talking to your elected officials, you can send a message that you care about the warming world. So I want to reach out to Sabrina and see some of her thoughts that she has on this.
Thank you, Noelle. So we can power our homes with renewable energy and choose a utility company that generates at least half its power from wind or solar and has been certified by Green Energy, an organization that vets renewable energy options. We can invest in energy efficient appliances since they were first implemented nationally in 1987. Efficiency standards for dozens of appliances and products have kept 2.3 billion tons of carbon dioxide out of the air. That is almost about the same amount as the annual carbon pollution coughed up by nearly 440 million cars. Energy efficiency is the lowest cost way to reduce emissions. When shopping for refrigerators, washing machines, and other appliances, look for the Energy Star label. I know I always look for that little yellow label. I don't know about you when I'm buying my appliances. And it will tell you which are the most efficient units that you're purchasing. So Stacy, what are your thoughts on this water waste?
Yeah, there's so many different things that we can do. One of the things is we can stop running water when we're not using it. And I think that the tips that we're giving today are so useful, just like everyday things that we can be doing that maybe we're just not even aware of, and that we can have an effect. You know, when I saw that video for the first time, especially with that purple smoke, it's like, oh yeah, that became a reality. So, you know, saving water reduces the carbon pollution. And honestly, I didn't really think of it that way. So I'm learning something today too. It's because it takes a lot of energy to pump, to heat it, to treat it, just for the water, right? So if we take maybe shorter showers, you know, turning off the tap water while you're brushing your teeth, and like we talked about, switching to the water sense labeled, you know, fixtures and appliances, maybe upgrading to those, just those little things. And the EPA estimates that if just 1 out of every 100 American homes were retrofitted with water efficient fixtures, about 100 million kilowatts of electricity per year would be saved. So that's avoiding 80,000 tons of global warming pollution. That sounds like a lot. And that's, you know, just doing that one thing. So another thought is to, you know, when we're purchasing food, you know, that we buy, you can, you know, cook more plants and eat less meat. Approximately 10% of U.S. energy use goes into growing, processing, the packaging, shipping the food, and over like 40% of which just winds up in the landfill. So if we're wasting less food, we're less, you know, going to be more likely cutting down on energy consumption as well. So this is really fascinating, the things that we can do to really make a difference. Now, Deirdre, I know that you were looking into a report that was talking about using the LED light bulbs.
Yes, Stacy, I was. But before I get into that, you know, I've always got to get a tax tip in when I can. And there is actually the residential solar tax credit if a taxpayer puts solar panels, you know, in their home. So I just wanted to give that little tip. But also, yes, using the LED light bulbs, because they use up to 80% less energy than conventional bulbs. And I know this personally because I live with my daughter and my son-in-law, and everything is LED, even the Christmas lights, okay? And they're also cheaper in the long run to use. The 10-watt LED that replaces your traditional to pull the plug. Oh, my internet is acting crazy today, okay? I apologize. So what we need to do is we actually need to, you know, pull the plug. And I remember being, you know, being a little girl at my grandmother's house. Every time you turn around, turn the lights off. But I tell you, I am really bad. I turn nothing off, okay? So, hey, I'm keeping it real, okay? Also, audio and video devices, cordless vacuums, power tools, all these other electronics, they just use up energy even when they're not charging. So this thing is called idle load. So all across the USA, households are using up to the output of 50 large power plants. That's ridiculous. I mean, can you imagine 50 large power plants? So you know what we need to do? We need to get our acts together, and we need to contribute to, you know, to helping our planet, I guess, last, so to speak. And I'm gonna tell you guys, I'm just being honest. I would hear people talking about global warming and all this other stuff, and I would just roll my eyes. But after watching that video, I'm like, okay, I have really been a bad girl, so I'm gonna get myself together. But listen, you know, I love a nice car, right? So Brianna, I need to know, honey, is that Mercedes fuel efficient? Come on, Brianna, tell us about that Mercedes.
Well, I didn't know if I was unmuted, but I don't really know that. That is a really good question. And now I'm going to call the dealership to see if the class that I have is fuel efficient, because if it's not, I'm going to be honest, guys, I've been looking at that Tesla Model X, and I know that's fuel efficient.
Yes, Auntie. Yes.
Yeah. So let's talk about driving fuel efficient cars, because that fuel efficient cars is definitely a smart car. And buying cars such as hybrids and fully electric vehicles, they actually save fuel and money. So another way we can save the planet is by maintaining our cars. And that's very, very important. That's something that I've been doing with the help of my father for a very long time. I just make sure I stay on top of my oil changes and my tune-ups, okay? So if all Americans kept their tires properly inflated, we can actually save 1.2 billion gallons of gas every single year. I did not know that. It's something as small as keeping your tires inflated. That's amazing. So a simple tune-up can boost miles per gallon anywhere from 4% to 40%. And a new air filter can give you a 10% boost. So maybe even rethinking how we travel, choosing to live in walkable, smart growth cities and towns with quality public transportation leads to less driving, less money spent on fuel, and then of course, less pollution in the air. And I'm doing my part living in Chicago because I don't have to drive as much, but it's a waste of money, like having a car and then having to pay for parking. That's a whole nother story. But so less frequent flying can definitely make a big difference too. So air transportation is a major, major source of climate pollution. Maybe traveling by train can be a little better. And these sacrifices that we can make maybe a little inconvenient, but they can save lives, like wearing face masks. So I love to travel, but you know, you got to do what you got to do, right? So Gina, you want to chime in?
Yeah, absolutely. You know what? I love to travel too, and I have cut back significantly. So yeah, it's bittersweet, but I'm finding things close to home, and doing things and having experiences right here. And so really the goal is simple, right? Carbon dioxide is one of the climate's worst enemies, if not the worst. It's released when oil, coal, and other fossil fuels are burned for energy. The energy we use to power our homes, our cars, computers, smartphones, and other appliances, right? So how can we reduce the way in which we negatively impact the environment? By using less energy, we can curb our own contribution to climate change while also saving money, right? We were given some tips a few moments ago on ways that we can each individually contribute to saving the planet and saving money. So our call to action here is to share these tips that we've shared with you, with your family and your friends, and have conversations, right? And implement at least one of these suggestions to help save our planet and not destroy it, right? And so we're going to take a brief sponsor break. And when we come back, we will chat about the popular new trend, thrifting, with our guest, Whitney Hartford.
Thriving Women Life Strategies is powered by Women Entrepreneurial Empowerment, commonly called WEE. The organization's mission is empowering women entrepreneurs through a platform of visibility, education, and strategic growth and development within the networking arena. Their doors are open to women of all ages, millennials, new startups, small business, and those needing a boost. If you are committed to excellence and you want to know more about the WEE platform, message founder Sabrina Protic on Facebook or email her at www.agelesstechniques.com. Back to Thriving Women Talk.
Segment is on the rising popularity of thrifting. So I was so excited when we got to start talking about this subject because, you know, thrifting is no longer kind of the taboo or the thing of like, oh, you know, we shouldn't be doing that. It might be used or it's unclean or maybe it has something to do with kind of your socioeconomic status, because that's kind of in the past. So, you know, really, it's all about being, you know, eco-conscious. And even if, you know, some people who can afford to buy brand new are looking at thrifting instead. So it really kind of, you know, there's a lot of different angles that we can look at this. And I'm really excited that we're going to be talking about it. Another thing to look at is that it really, when we're thrifting and we're using it now instead of buying new things, it also kind of puts an impact for people that maybe can't afford to buy brand new. So there's less things on the shelves for those who truly do have that need and can't, afford other options. So, kind of this past decade, thrifting's really been taking on a whole completely new life. Generation Z, which is, my daughter's generation, really has kind of brought this to be something that's kind of like a thing to do. And so I'm really excited when we're looking at kind of this encouragement of being more conscious as a consumer. I know, Brianna, you're going to be kind of giving us some information about how the internet has kind of made a difference with this. And so I'd love to kind of hear what you found out as far as this rise in thrifting.
Absolutely. I really, I'm enjoying this segment because my background is definitely fashion, and me personally, I love to thrift more than I like to do mainstream shopping, because I can find so many pieces that I can make my own and not look like the person next to me or look like I'm dressing off of the mannequin. So let's talk about the internet. The internet has actually played a critical role in the rise of thrifting. So the pressure to stay trendy is definitely inevitable, because you see all these people looking perfect all the time, right? So in a market where mainstream brands like Zara and H&M ship out new styles to stores bi-weekly, weekly, or even daily. So social media giants like Instagram and YouTube have no doubt enforced these social pressures, resulting in consumption habits that have been both unhealthy for our bank accounts and the earth, actually. However, popular social media accounts like Best Dress, which showcase thrift shopping finds, and do it yourself, have conversely increased the popularity of buying secondhand clothes to maintain a trendy image on a tight budget. And this is great, especially due to the pandemic and maybe a decrease in funds. You can still look amazing. Like, you can literally find sweaters for 50 cents or $1 and blazers. I just absolutely love it. We invited Whitney to the show so that she can give us some insight on this popular trend and share with us some of the fashions that she has actually found while thrifting. So, Whitney, how did you feel before you started thrifting? And how did you feel after thrifting? And what did you find different about the experience that most people would not understand unless they actually tried it?
Well, to be honest with you, I didn't know the first thing about thrifting. I worked in retail for years, so I was always around people just going in a store. It was so common to me to just go to a real retail store and buy stuff. I worked in retail for years, and I actually was in some unfortunate circumstances to where I was laid off work and needed to get a job. And it's like, how do you go buy a suit to go on an interview for? I wanted to look my best without spending an arm and a leg, and here I am, a single mother trying to get to that interview and get the job done. So my turning point was when I realized I needed to go get some interview clothes, and I went to Goodwill and I saw the selection that they had available, and it literally blew my mind. Like, from that point on, it was a new turning page for me. I was just like, whoa, this is like a mini mall on clearance. And the best thing, and a thing that kind of rationalizes me, is our clothes that we buy that are brand new, most of the time are tried on anyways. So they're already used to an extent. They just haven't been washed. And people try them on all the time. Why am I going to pay full price when the clothes have already been tried on, when I can go find something unique that fits my style that I can afford?
Yeah, absolutely. I love it. So what you have on now is from the thrift store, correct?
Absolutely. This is actually a BB shirt that I got from the thrift store. Normally, shirts there are about $4. Dresses are $5 to $7. And it's the thrift store. You can find household items. You can find clothes. It's a great way to find a unique fashion. And the thing is, when you go thrifting, people aren't always looking for selected items. When you're going to a thrift store, it's usually to appeal to your style or taste.
Absolutely. It's like a treasure chest. It's a treasure find. And it's been so many times where I went. Yeah, like it's been so many times where I went thrifting and I spent like $50 or $100 and I had like 20, 30 outfits. And it's just
whole
like,
new
oh
wardrobe.
my gosh, I love it. A whole new wardrobe, right? Ready for the season.
Yeah.
So Deidre, I know that you want to chime in and ask Whitney some things. So you can come on in.
First of all, Whitney, honey, you are rocking that shirt, okay?
Thank you.
Mhm.
I'm like, oh my goodness, honey, you got a gift. Well, listen, I'm
Yeah.
these individuals that are tapping into the thrifting online popularity and actually making businesses out of reselling thrifted
Mhm.
they purchased at marked up prices. How do I know this? Because just like Brianna and Whitney, my daughter is a fashionista. And she's like always online looking for stuff. And let me give you ladies a little hint. She has found a connection, if you like couture. She has a connection for resold couture, couture bags. So just thought I'd drop that out there for you.
Yes.
So what happened is that some people who started simply out by just revamping their wardrobes, on the cheap, now they go thrifting exclusively to find items to resell for a profit. And I mean, I was on the internet, today before the show, just looking at the different online thrifting sites. And I mean, seriously, I was overwhelmed. But you know what? I think it's really creative for someone to take something like Whitney, like, you taking something that you love and, you're making a business out of it. And I mean, I'm all about the business. So I just think it's a great idea, and I love it. And like I said, you're looking cute. You're rocking the shirt. Okay. You're rocking the shirt.
Thank you.
All right.
Absolutely. And they have like literally 50% off Mondays, so you can get it even if you check out certain stores, like you can get an even cheaper price, right? It's crazy. So Whitney, can you actually share with our viewers some of the items that you purchased while thrifting like a boss, and what advice do you have for those who are interested in getting started?
Yes. I would love to share some items that we have. I know they're gonna show some of them to you guys. I have
Alan. Huh? Okay. Uh-huh. No, I was telling for them to show your pictures.
So this is a sporty outfit that is comfortable, that's trending. Tommy Hilfiger is just a really big brand that's out there, and the top itself is $8. The crossbody bag, that was $13, and Air Force One tennis shoes, sneakers, those are always going to be in. They're so comfortable. It's something you can wear out to the mall or just out with your kids. And I'm all about comfort. Comfort is my main thing, and to be able to have an outfit under $50 is just great. I love it. I love it. I love it. This is like one of the outfits that you would see me wearing every day. Number 2, this is date night. One of my favorite outfits, guys. I was able to find this Green Bay Packers baseball jersey at Goodwill. I have a Fashion Nova leotard, Tommy Hilfiger jeans, Fashion Nova thigh-high boots, and a Tommy Hilfiger handbag. And the great thing about this, again, is this whole outfit was under $50, and I was able to find it at your local Goodwill or Salvation Army. And you really have to look for this stuff, but it's totally worth it. The only thing is it's just a time-consuming thing, but I just love it because it's so much fun. We'll go on to look number 3. This is business casual for all my ladies that are always working, that love to dress up. This is another comfortable outfit that I would wear to work. We have a Coach bag that's designer that I was able to find on a Goodwill website. You can also find your items online. An H&M dress, and some tan wedges. All this stuff, once again, under $50. I was able to find this stuff at Goodwill, and it makes a statement. I love dressing up, going to work, and not only looking good, feeling good. And there's something about when you dress nice, you feel good. So and it's great to save money too.
Absolutely. I totally agree. Thank you so much for sharing with our viewers how to look fabulous on a budget. I am with you 100%. So thank you once again for sharing your passion. And we would love to have you on the show next week to share some of your ideas and purchases. We're going to take a sponsor break. And when we come back, we will introduce our life strategy guests, Farrah and Bryce Sanders. So we'll be right back.
For more episodes of the Thriving Women Talk Show, visit the Mindshift Coaching Services YouTube channel and subscribe. Experience the shift with transformational coaching through Mindshift Coaching Services. Our expertise is in mindset, habit, and behavior change, providing total support and accountability. Together, we will transform your pain into power using transformational coaching method techniques to guide you towards creating a clear vision and purpose while aligning your actions with your goals. To learn more, visit mindshiftcoaching.com. Now, back to Thriving Women.
This is Sabrina Prodick. So have you seen, and I'm sure you do, there's just no shortage to fitness challenges now out there on social media. So have you seen the fitness challenges pop up on your social media pages? I know I do, in your feeds, and kind of really get you going. You kind of think, hey, I want to do that. That looks good. We've seen some with the 30-day plank challenge on Pinterest, or on the month-long squat challenges. I've seen those. You know, maybe your neighbors posted them on Facebook, and it just seems so tempting to join. You know, you really want to get out there and do it. Many people shelter in place, and they want to get that buzz going in their body and get the chemistry going and work out. So all of us can surely find some kind of motivation to stick with some kind of exercise, which is, you know, do it for 30 days. You know, give yourself 30 days to get in shape. So do these simple 30-day challenges work? That's a question. I mean, when you see these fitness models and these fitness gurus, they look great. But can you expect to see notable changes in your body from committing to one exercise every day for a month? So to get the answers to these critical questions, we've invited fitness coaches Farrah Bledsoe and Bryce Sanders to the show to demonstrate 3 popular fitness challenges that some people say they work. So let's kind of hear from them. Farrah, welcome back to Florida. There she is. We have Farrah on location right now, just in case you're wondering.
I'm like in the middle of training and everything, but I'm happy to be here.
Well, this is real. Thank you so much. You've been on Thriving Women before. We welcome you back. We want to congratulate you on the growth and success of your business. But before we get into these fitness challenges, can you share with our viewers the uniqueness of combining a hair salon with fitness membership? How does that work?
Well, you don't see that too often, right? So I am actually, can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, I am, my brand, my corporation basically started as a hair salon. I was a cosmetologist. So when I first went into business, my corporation was basically based around my 2 salons. And as I started to kind of navigate away from that and get into the fitness industry, which is a story behind itself, but I was kind of bouncing all over the place. I worked as a fitness center director for a park district for 3 years. After I got my certification, and then I was still doing hair part-time. So I had that job. I was trying to build my fitness brand, and then I was working in a salon part-time in someone else's salon. So just kind of trying to build the business of fitness for myself. But it was driving me crazy bouncing around amongst all those different places. So I had to figure out how to simplify my life. So one of my favorite places to work out was Lifetime Fitness. And I just love the concept of how they have, you know, they offer all the different services that are pretty much based around wellness. So you have your gym, then there's usually like a spa and salon inside, and then they have like a little fitness cafe. So I was like, well, why can't I combine mine just on a smaller scale? So that's when I just decided to find a space that would house everything that I did, because I've kind of condensed my cosmetology clientele down quite a bit. I'm so excited from that. But I did find a space that was able to accommodate like a small salon suite, and then the majority of the space is basically the fitness studio.
Wonderful. Now, can you share with us how has the pandemic impacted your business? You got the hair salon and the fitness.
Well, as far as the pandemic goes, we were shut down when everything hit at first. We were shut down for 3 months. So from March, and we came back at the beginning of June. So it was a little bit scary because we didn't know what direction everything was going to go, how they were shutting gyms down. We didn't know what the response from the public was going to be. We were fairly new. We hadn't even been open. Bryce is joining me.
Hello, everybody. What's going on?
So we hadn't even quite been open for a year before we had to completely shut down. But we already had the capability of migrating all of our clients to online system that we had already set up. So that was relatively easy. We're like a small, intimate space. Just our little community is basically family. So all of our clients were very supportive. Like they were okay with being online, and we did some special things for them. And they just kind of kept their things going, their packages going, whatever that they were paying for. They're like, look, we're going to be there whenever you guys open up. We're ready to come back. And when we were able to open back up, we just got like an overwhelming response. I think people were looking for more of an intimate environment instead of the larger gym chains that are out there. Just because the fear was there, because people didn't know where they were going to have to, or where they were going to be coming in contact with COVID. And just the crowds. So we keep our space pretty small, pretty intimate. Like we only usually accommodate up to 10 people on the floor at a time anyway. But because of COVID, we reduced that down to 6. So there's never really more, and that's including us. So there's never really more than 6 people on the floor at a time. So I think this is kind of what people have been looking for. It actually worked out okay for us. In the beginning, it was a little bit scary, but we found that pretty well.
Excellent. Bryce, nice to see you.
Nice to see you. How you doing? Good morning.
Good. Hey, I want to look like you one day, okay?
Well, come on.
I don't know if the 30-day challenge is going to help that, but let's get back to the question, though. This is for Bryce and for Farah. I mentioned earlier, we see these 30-day challenges all over the place. Do this one exercise every day for 30 days and your body can change. Is that true? Can you see results in 30 days doing one exercise every day?
Well, you definitely can. It may not necessarily be the result that you're looking for, and it also depends on the exercise. So it really depends on what you're doing. But I'll say this: any type of exercise, any type of movement on a consistent basis is going to render some type of change. So the answer in the large scheme of things is yes. Mm-hmm. But again, it's like you can't expect to look like Bryce by doing one.
Yeah, and that's some of the things that they sell on social media that I think is the part of the issue. People's expectation is, and it's also in the scheme of sometimes people are just trying to sell you products, supplements, yes, and not tell you the idea of the work that it's going to take, to put it in the consistency. So, I mean, anything consistent effort could get you result, even if you're lifting the wrong way, right? Yeah, absolutely. The muscles are going to change regardless. So it's all on how you do it. But consistency is key. But yes, the answer is yes.
Bryce, you brought up a good point. What is the mission? What's the objective? Is it really fitness, or are they trying to sell a product? And so you may get lost in that whole marketing piece. So that's really a good thing to look at. So we got you both here. You're both fitness people. I don't do too good with this thing called a burpee. I just can't handle the burpee. I can't. I'll tell you everything. Hey, I got knee problems. I'll come up with every excuse in the world. I want to do the burpee. That's the first thing when you go to the gym. They want you to do burpees when you get into a fitness program. So can you explain to us what a burpee is and the burpee challenge? Maybe do a little demo.
Right. Well, did you want to explain it? Well, I can do the demo.
So I'll let him do the demo, and then I'll explain.
Like that back, maybe to see it all the way to the floor. Okay.
So with the burpee challenge, and yes, we've seen these all over the place. So a burpee is actually a very good exercise to implement into any program, whether you're weightlifting, whether you are doing high intensity interval training, or Tabata, or whatever. It's a good exercise for you to implement. It's going to build endurance, number 1. It's very good for core strengthening, number 2. It's very good for the quads, for building quad stability and muscle lengthening, actually. So I'm going to have him demonstrate, because there's a couple of different forms. And of course, if you can't do like a full strict burpee, you can always do modifications until you build yourself up to 1. So I'm going to let him start off with a strict burpee, which is where you're going to jump up. You're going to come down into that squatted position, kick completely back, which is where you're stabilizing your core. You come back feet wide. A lot of times you see people making the mistake of coming in with their feet really narrow, but you want to make sure your feet are wide where you're coming into a squatted position. And you see when he jumps out, you're keeping your core nice and stable so that your lower back is not sinking down to the floor. You want to stay nice and tight, number 1, so that you can prevent back injury. And number 2, that's where we're really working those core muscles, because the hardest thing sometimes for people to do is support their own body weight. So that's why we say that sometimes you don't even need a set of weights at home. Like if you can't get to the gym, your body is your best tool. So of course, these are going to work like every muscle group. Of course, it's not an isolation exercise, but it's going to give you a little bit of everything from top to bottom. So that's why burpee is such a popular exercise for people.
And everyone hates them.
I hate it, but I do see now why I hate it, because I see the feet are spread apart, and I think I was coming up with my feet close, and it was just killing my body. Yes. So I can see that. So thank you for the proper stance on that, and also the squat. Can you tell us, do squat? This squat challenge. Can you show us that?
So squat is also another compound exercise.
Sure is.
So I'm gonna have you turn a little bit that way so people can make sure that they see. Yeah. Okay. So 2 of the keys. Number 1, you want to keep your back nice and neutral. You see how his spine is nice and neutral. Now you're not overarching to the front, and you're not hyper arched to the back. So you want to make sure that spine here is nice and neutral. So you're coming back down into a squatted position where you're actually like you're aiming for an invisible chair, like a chair that's not there. So you're pivoting at the knees when you come down. You got a full hip extension when you come up. You got a nice contraction of the glutes. And then one of the main key things is you want to make sure that the knee stays behind the toe or in line with the toe. That's really important, especially for people who have bad knees that may not be able to get good squat depth. So you want to keep your feet a nice distance apart. So they should be slightly wider than shoulder width. And again, you want to make sure that that back stays nice and neutral. Core is nice and tight and engaged. See how those glutes are aiming for the floor here? Then you come up and you want to make sure you squeeze those glutes. So that's called a full range of motion execution. So that's how you build a nice butt, is when you come down into that squat, come back in, make sure you squeeze those glutes really tight. Knees are nice behind the knees. Nice behind the toes. Back is nice and neutral. And there you have it. Now, for real, with a squat, like you do squats every day, you're going to have a nice tush, I promise.
We appreciate the form, getting the side front view, and I can see that I definitely had wrong posture. Yeah. Definitely, and I was hurting my knees, and I can see why. So I appreciate that. Let's go with this last challenge of the plank. Everybody hates the plank. You can do a plank, but it's planking and then planking for a minute. Who can plank for a minute? That's hard. So let's go with it.
Planking and planking.
Okay, so again, let's get a mat. Grab a mat. Okay. So again, this is another exercise that is excellent for core stability and just good overall in building like your muscle stamina, because again, you're supporting your own body weight. So what you want to do is, if you can't hold a plank for a significant amount of time, you just start off in little bursts. So I don't care if it's 10 seconds or 15 seconds. You just want to give yourself as much time as you can, like comfortably holding the correct form, and then just work your way up. Because you have those challenges where it's like a minute challenge or a 4-minute challenge or a 5-minute challenge. I'm bored to death trying to hold a plank for more than 2 minutes. So, of course, it does have its advantages for going, periods of time. But again, anytime you're supporting your own body weight, it's going to build strength in a number of different muscles. So we're going to demonstrate. Absolute plank is here. So he's down on his forearms, hands are together. Notice that his head is not sinking down. Again, that spine position is extremely important. So you want to make sure that spine stays nice and neutral. So the base of the neck should be in line with the spine. So coming straight down. If I were to put a ruler on his back, you would see a completely straight line. So the quads are nice and tight and flexed. The knees are not sinking down to the floor. And then you want to take nice deep breaths in through your nose, out through your mouth. In through your nose, out through your mouth. Also, if you can pay attention to his toes, like the toes are curled under basically giving you some stability. So you shouldn't be pushing too much back into your feet, but you kind of want to keep yourself grounded by curling those toes and then flexing the quads so that it's giving you an ample amount of support. And see how his hands are together. You can also have them flat, but the main part, yes. But the main part is to make sure that you're keeping those elbows nice and flat. The triceps get a little bit of a flex position, so you're working those as well. And then that spine is nice and neutral. And you hold that position for as long as you can. So like I said, whether it's 10 seconds, whether it's 15 seconds, you start where you want, work your way up.
Well, I have to tell you, Bryce, I was timing you. You went way over a minute and you didn't flinch. I don't know if he can do longer than that, but I think most people who are not experienced at planking, it's hard for them to get to that minute.
Yeah.
So,
and that's okay.
Phenomenal posture. Were you going to say something, Farrah?
No, I was just saying not being able to do that minute completely is okay. We want to show you a modification also that you can work up to. So basically,
not as advanced.
Not as advanced, but basically how you want to get into that position is start in a regular plank position like we were before. So the elbows, toes are tucked under, quads are nice and flexed, but you see how his knees are making contact with the ground now. But the thing is, you don't want to let that belly rest on the floor, because some people make that mistake also. You still want that parallel position against the floor, but you still want a nice ample amount of space. So you should be off of the floor, probably a good, maybe 3 to 4 inches off the floor. But the only difference is your knees are making contact. So your feet can either be up in the air, they can also be down on the floor as well. But that's a good modification in case you're not able to fully support yourself in that upright position. Then you can just go ahead and start there and work your way up.
Wow, that's phenomenal. And for those of you that know me, I use that word a lot. I really mean it this time. That is phenomenal. Farrah, can you tell us how people can find you? Bryce, thank you so much for those demonstrations. Phenomenal.
I got my wall out the way.
Wonderful. How can we find you?
Well, you can visit our website. We are at www.trgfitclub.com. Super simple. Our phone number is 708-382-7044. Or you can email us at info@trgfitclub.com.
Thank you so much. Thank both of you for being on the show. We're going to go to a quick break. When we come back, we'll finish it with Thriving Women Talk. Thank you. Welcome back. Well, that was powerful. I want to know how many women were planking while that was going on. Oh, come on, Deirdre Pittman. Okay.
I was planking in my mind.
In your mind. Gina was. So we've had a very powerful segment today. Something that's going to change our lives, not only in fashion, but also in our physical health. Let's hear from Sylvia. She's going to bring our show to a close, and she's going to do this in Spanish and cover our whole global issue. Sylvia?
Gracias, Sabrina. Muchas gracias. Thank you. 5 cosas que tenemos que hacer para evitar nosotros mismos el calentamiento global. Número 1, usar transporte público. Usar más nuestros piecitos y caminar un poquito más. Eso también nos ayudaría a mantenernos en forma, chicas. Usar la bicicleta es otra manera de evitar el dióxido de carbono, porque tendremos menos carros circulando en las calles. Yo fui a Nueva York el año pasado en diciembre, y lo que hice fue caminar, usar la bicicleta, usar el transporte público para no usar tanto el carro, pero tenemos que hacer algo de eso a todos. Y otra cosa es ahorrar energía. Hablamos la semana pasada de los paneles solares, que eso es también muy importante para todos, implementar y pensar, como yo lo estoy haciendo y tomando conciencia, que ahorremos energía y empecemos a usar paneles solares, consumir menos carne de res. Pero las hamburguesas están muy buenas, ¿verdad? Es otra cosa que tenemos que hacer, es dejar de comer carne de res, porque eso también evitaría el calentamiento global. Plantar más árboles. Una de las cosas que he estado haciendo en mi casa estos últimos años, plantando árboles. Tengo árboles de guayaba, de limón, árboles que protegen nuestro ambiente. También reciclar. Reciclar es muy importante, reciclar las botellas en vez de tirarlas, reciclarlas. Esos son los 5 cosas que tenemos que hacer para tomar conciencia, y no solamente uno, ayudar a las demás personas a educarlas para evitar que tengamos un mejor ambiente, porque vivimos en esta tierra y tenemos que ayudar a nuestro calentamiento global. Sabrina?
Thank you so much for that, Sylvia. And I want to add that, remind everyone that we are still in a state of pandemic, and we want everyone to be careful out there. There's CDC guidelines to shelter in place, to protect yourselves and your families. And also, we know with this pandemic is coming a lot of financial changes and impact to people and their families. We want to encourage you to keep some peace of mind. We've got a mind shift coach here, Gina Marie Casano. Feel free to reach out to her if you're struggling mentally with the changes that are going on. You know, Thriving Women, we're here to help you in any way that we can. And if you're looking to pivot into something, we've got many business correspondents here. We've got a tax person here, Deirdre Pittman. There are a lot of things. We got financial coaches. So seek us out. We certainly enjoyed you today with Thriving Women. Very impactful. I think we all want to go do a little workout. We want to thank our special guests today on our show. We had Whitney Gonzalez Hartford, Farrah Bledsoe, and Bryce Sanders. Special thank you to our Tribe, Noel Ramos, Gina Marie Casano, Deirdre Pittman, Sylvia Camacho, and Brianna Johnson. Special thank you to our Thriving Women Network producer, as always, Daryl A. Johnson, for bringing us exciting topics each week. And also our CEO and SIBN engineer, Alan Chapin, who makes it all possible. He's the guy in the back room you don't see. Tune in to Thriving Women Network's new show, Uncomfortable Conversation, happens every Wednesday morning at 8 a.m. with Ricky Burney and Walter Parker. Uncomfortable Conversation. This week's topic is going to be, do morals and ethics matter? Woo, that's going to be powerful. Tune in to us next week. We'll bring you more exciting topics, and we want to send you a big hug from Thriving Women Network. We will see you next week. Goodbye, everybody.
You can follow all of our hosts on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. If you're interested in joining the Trendsetter Mentor Group or being a guest on Thriving Women Talk, email Daryl Johnson at npartners@yahoo.com. We believe you will continue to thrive, not just survive.